Hi everybody, my name's Gloria and welcome to Gloria's Crafts. Today we're going to be making, I'm going to be making out of this pumpkin wreath, a snowman, Frosty the Snowman. So you're going to need a pumpkin wreath. In the automotive section of the Dollar Tree, you're going to need one of the microfiber cloths in white. Now, the other day when I went, I got this hat, but it said happy birthday on it, and I took it off. And now they have out the hats for New Year's. So you're going to need one of those hats. You're going to need some flowers of your choosing and, you know, little decor to put on his hat. You're going to need some fabric, which I believe I got this fabric at Walmart. And I cut it for his scarf and to go around his hat. It might not be big enough. I am unclear on that. And you're going to need your glue gun. So I already cut the hat in half because we're only going to need one half of the hat. So let's get started. Now you can use E6000 on this or Gorilla Glue. I'm just going to use my glue gun. So you're going to take your microfiber cloth and you're going to drape it over the pumpkin. And you're going to start gluing, but I would turn it over. And pull kind of tight as you do it. So I would have it upside down like I do and start gluing it around the frame of the pumpkin. So try to center it, and then not exactly sure how much of the fiber cloth you'll have. I believe this is big enough. I do not think you're going to need have any extra. You're also going to need buttons or rocks for his little face. I'm not pulling it right now. Right now I am just putting it on as I go around. Now here is where I'm kind of folding it. I hope you can see that. And I will get back to gluing that down more. I just want to see how this works out as we do it. Just trying to check it out. I'm going to go up the other side next. So I had bought a bag of rocks at the Dollar Tree. I always buy rocks at the Dollar Tree so that it can weigh things down. And I took out black rocks. You could paint them if you don't have any black. You could use buttons. So here I am at the fold, like on the other side. So I'm going to put more glue on there and secure that down. Now the stem is going to be hidden by the hat, and right now is where you begin to pull, because you're doing the top or the bottom, whichever way you started it. But you want to pull and make it tighter as you go. So as you can see, it's taking the form of the pumpkin. So pull tight, pull it over tight. This is where you want it to be tight. Pull it tight. You don't have much extra, which is a plus. And then for the stem, you're going to glue all around also. So now what you want to do is do the stem and then secure all this fabric down to the metal wires. Try not to burn yourself. So this is what the front looks like. Now, if you don't like that it's bulky over here, which I do not like, I am going to pull this tighter so that we don't have these lines. You can cut off your excess if you want. It's going to be laying on your door, like flat up against the door, so you're really not going to see it, but it's your choice. So I had to unglue it and glue it down to the metal frame. Please be careful not to burn yourself. So I'm going to hold this for a couple seconds because it's pulled taut. I'm going to move this over some so you can see what I'm doing. So I like that a little better. It still has a bump here that I'm not happy with. So I'm going to pull this tighter and glue that to the metal of the pumpkin. I think this is a cute idea. I saw so many different pumpkins that people did, and I just kept thinking, what could I do that might be a little different, and this is what I came up with. So here he is. I wouldn't worry about the stem. That's going to be hidden by his hat. Okay? And we're going to put a little scarf on him so that he hangs down. So we're going to work on his hat right now. So here's his hat, half of his hat. I cut it in half. Here's the other half. This part had the happy birthday on it. It's a little banged up because it's hard to keep these straight. But then again, his hat wasn't the newest of hats either. So cut your hat in half, and then we're going to stick some ribbon around it. Cloth is what I have around it. I have this from, I believe, Walmart. So I don't like it that high, so I'm going to fold it in half, but I want to cut it. So I'm going to cut it first. So I'm going to glue this. I'm going to fold it in half and glue it down. I'm just putting a strip of hot glue, a thin strip, on. I'm going to take the other side and fold it down. Now he found the hat, so it doesn't have to be perfect, which is good that he found the hat, because that's how he came to light. So here's your hat, here's your ribbon or cloth, and you're going to start on one side and you're going to glue it all the way around. Please be careful. Try not to burn yourself. So here's his hat with the cloth around it. I'm going to give a little extra on the ends so that it stays down. I'm actually going to use my spatula because this glue gets so hot in my glue gun. I know it's a glue gun and that's the point, but I've had others that don't seem to burn me as much as this one does. I get burned a lot on this glue gun. So that's why I'm using my spatula. Now, you have his hat with your ribbon, your cloth, anything you like on there. And now I'm going to add some embellishments. So I have this. I'm going to use a poinsettia. Some of the balls that I painted, these were glittery. I should have left them glittery. They do not look so good painted, but this is what I have. So now I'm going to put some embellishments on this hat. I'm going to take my flower, put it here. Dagnammit. I have some protectors. I just, for some reason, don't use them. And then I end up burning myself. So, I do have other embellishments to stick on this, but I think I'm going to wait and see. I think this might just be enough for me. You can put as many on as you want. You can do the whole entire hat. I am not sure how much I want to put on him. So, here's his hat so far. I'm not sure if I'm going to put anything else on him. Now, the reason you're keeping the stem also is when you turn it around, there's an opening. So you can hang that up. Right here, there's an opening. You can hang that up on your door. So now we're going to take the hat and we are going to put it on his head. Just like this. Back as far as you can. and I would just glue right here and up here on the inside so it stays on. Okay? I'm going to do the middle. Generous amount in the middle. And then I take I'm going to hold it for a couple seconds so that it adheres. He's starting to look like a snowman. Now I'm going to put glue here and glue over here. I might need to trim my hat, which kind of stinks because I have my embellishments there, but we shall see. I would hold it down on the glue so that the glue adheres. Finger protectors are always a plus so you don't burn yourself. Be careful of your hat. It is not a very sturdy hat. Put some more glue over here for the other side of the hat to glue the hat on. Use your finger protectors. I can't say that enough. I get burned a lot. So if you find your hat's too big, cut it down. If you want it to stay flush with your door. So here's his hat on this side and his hat on this side. I am going to glue his hat a little more. I have a hole in here, so I don't like that. So I'm going to try and fix that right now. So I am fixing that right now. That hat really goes back really far. I'm probably going to have to trim the hat and move my items up. So hold that down till it sticks, just like I'm doing. I think he's finally starting to look like a snowman. I have these thoughts, and then for them to come into fruition, it's hard to say, especially when I'm doing the craft on video. So it's not, I think of this stuff at nighttime, and I go through the craft items I have, and I try to figure out something to do that you haven't seen a lot of, and then I work it out as I'm videotaping it. So just make sure his hat is on, and I think he looks really cute even without his face yet. I think now that he has his hat on, you can tell he's a snowman. Here he is so far. I'm still trying to get the hat to stick. Bear with me. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Now we're going to do his eyes and his mouth and his nose. If you don't have rocks that are black and you want to do all black, spray paint them. I found these rocks And these are what I'm going to use for his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. His mouth is very, very heavy. This is a heavier rock. But I have 2 for his eyes, 1 for his nose, and they're different colors because I made snowmen with my kids when they were younger, and I could never find anything that was perfect. So I figured, what the heck? Let's just do it. So here he is, and I'm thinking about here and over here, and then the middle will be his nose, and then his little mouth. So let's see. I'm going to put a generous amount of glue. So I'm going to put that right on the one side. Now you can use E6000 if you're worried about your rock falling off or your button falling off. Or you could use Gorilla Glue. I am choosing to use my glue gun. And when it falls off, I'll say, oh, I should have used E6000. So, just make sure they're secure. Let's see. They look kind of even. His little eyes. Oh, I think he is really cute. So put a generous amount of glue. Put his little nose on and hold that on there. I'm going to have to cut the hat, is what it comes down to. It's way too big because it won't sit flush. If you see, it won't sit flush when I hang it up. So here's his eyes and his nose. And then for his mouth, I have this really big rock. It's going to take a couple minutes. Put a lot of glue, especially if it's a heavy rock. And then you're going to have to hold it for a couple minutes. That's what I was saying. It's going to take a couple minutes because it's going to take a little bit to adhere to his little face. So my hat is too big. Should have just been just the front of the hat. So I'm going to have to take off my flowers. Okay, so here's his little mouth. His eyes, nose, mouth, and his hat. So I'm going to have to take these off, and I'm going to cut probably from here over. As you can see, I cut the hat. It was hanging over too far. Now it's not so bad. So now I'm going to put my poinsettia and the silver beaded thing on there. So now I'm just holding it in place so that it'll stick. Still trying to get this to stick to the hat. I really like it so far. I'm going to put some more, a couple more seconds holding this down. Okay. I'm going to stick some more glue over here. And then I'd like this on his little face, this little poinsettia. Just a little bit on his face so that it's on there. Oh, his mouth is very heavy. So now we're going to take our cloth and we're going to put it around. Let me see how I want this. Just like that, and then we'll have two hanging down and then cut them. So I'll show you what I mean. Just put your glue all over your little man here. Take your cloth. So you got your glue and you got your cloth, and you're going to put it on him. And you might need some more glue on the ends, especially for his scarf. You want it firm, you know, especially if you have kids and they're opening and shutting the door, or their friends are coming over. You might need to have more secure on his person. So I'm going to cut, maybe I'll leave that on there. I am. So I'm going to cut this in little strips like you would have for a regular scarf. And then I'm going to get another piece to have that on there also. So I am cutting the ends. So now it kind of looks like a scarf. You can make it longer or little. And I am going to get more fabric to do the other part of his scarf. So here's my fabric. I'm going to cut another piece. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size of the piece you have, because you've had it turned around. And I just noticed, you know, because you put it in the scarf on and you tie it in a knot and whatnot. So I'm still cutting my cloth, my fabric, whatever you'd like to call it. Okay, so, okay. Here's the other piece. You want to fray the ends again like you just did to the other piece. Make them, you know, like a regular scarf to have your ends. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to hot glue gun this in here, and then I'm going to lap this over here. So it'll be like this for his scarf. So I'm going to glue gun in here, put this piece here, glue gun a little more here, and fold this over. You're going to want to make sure that it's glued down pretty secure on the top. And also the bottom. So here is your scarf. And here is your snowman with his little scarf. I think he's really cute. For this project, you're going to need some fabric and the Mary sign. So what I have done is I cut the fabric on an angle so that I can get the R covered. I'd like the R covered. And then I picked this, and then I have this for my deer. So I'm going to start with the deer first. I am going to hot glue this piece of fabric onto the deer first, and then I'll know where to go for the Mary. You can pick any color fabric you like. You could paint it. For the gather sign that I did in another tutorial, I had used what did I use? I put flowers on it. And you could paint it if you'd like, but I thought I'd add some fabric to this, and I'm just trying to do part of it so that I don't get the R for the Mary. So I'm going to cut this right here gently, because I just want my deer covered, my reindeer. So I'm just patting it down. So I'm carefully trying to glue around my deer. Reindeer. You could use Mod Podge for this. You could use E6000, Gorilla Glue. You could even use Elmer's glue if you really wanted to. But I am trying to just get the area that I want of the deer, the reindeer. And then I will cut it off. Or sandpaper it off. You could sandpaper it off too, I believe, also. I just want to do the reindeer. Now you could paint around the sides any color you like, black, red, use any fabric you like. So as you can see, we have a lot of cutting to do to get this off of the rest of the Mary. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. So now you can see that the reindeer is done. He's a little tricky. He's the trickiest part because he's got intricate parts on him. So I Mod Podged him. As you can see, he is still wet. So he's still wet, but I tried to get as close in all the crevices for you to see my reindeer. I am going to continue to nip at this. I didn't realize how much was on this one piece right here. So you're going to need some really good scissors, and this is basically what you continue to do. But this is the most intricate part, is the reindeer, because there's more to him, but he still looks like a reindeer, so I had Mod Podged him after I hot glue gunned him on there. So now we're going to do the Mary, and I wanted to get the R and everything, so I have my fabric, and I did it a little longer. I cut over here so I could make sure I get my Mary. So we're going to start with the M, and we're going to put glue all over the one piece of the M, just like that. Take your fabric and push it down and make sure that it's on there. I'm only doing a piece at a time so that I make sure that the whole entire letter is covered with glue and fabric. So I'm just doing the M first to get the M done. I'm not using a lot of glue. I'm not pressing hard for a lot of glue to come out. I'm just trying to make it so that it's entirely covered. And then I will move the fabric over for the M. So the entire M should be covered. The reindeer is the hardest part, I believe. And then start on the E and just continue to put your glue everywhere, and then start putting your fabric down. You should have enough fabric so you won't have to pull on it if you're using fabric. You can pull on it, but it is not necessary. And if you see there's a part that needs more glue that you missed, just put some glue on it. This is a pretty simple project. The most detailed part is cutting out around the letters and the reindeer. The reindeer has a lot more parts to it than the rest, because the rest is so much bigger. So just continue with your glue, and if it overlaps, that's okay, because you're going to cut it off anyway. I'm pulling a little here on the R to make sure that I have enough fabric to go right up against my very handsome reindeer. So now what you're going to do, once it's all glued, as you can see, it's all glued, you're going to cut all these little pieces out where you can see it. Okay? That's what I'm going to do right now. Now, by using the Mod Podge, you can get in the little crevices. I suggest when you do this, you make sure that when you're gluing it down originally with the hot glue gun, you do every inch of the outer rim so you don't cut too much off and have to add more cloth. I had made that mistake. So right now I'm going to put this in the sun to dry, and it's all done. I might, once the Mod Podge dries, go in and try and cut some more of the fabric, but I think it'll look really nice once it's done and dry. Thanks for watching. Bye.